Hollywood's golden age gave us timeless movies, unforgettable romances, and stars who seemed larger than life. But behind the glamorous premieres and dazzling smiles was a battlefield few fans ever saw. These legendary actors and actresses weren't just competing for awards, they were fighting over love, fame, money, stolen roles, bruised egos, and decades-old grudges. Some refused to speak to each other for years. Others secretly sabotaged careers, traded brutal insults in interviews, or turned every movie set into a war zone. Today, we're counting down 18 of the most legendary celebrity feuds in Golden Era Hollywood, the rivalries that changed careers, destroyed friendships, and shocked an entire generation. Some ended peacefully. Some lasted until death. And one feud became so bitter that two Oscar-winning actresses couldn't even stand in the same room together. Let's begin. Joan Crawford vs. Bette Davis. No Golden Age Hollywood rivalry became more legendary than the feud between Joan Crawford and Bette Davis. Their hostility reportedly began in the 1930s after Crawford married actor Frank Attone, a man Davis had admired. Whether that incident alone caused the rivalry is still debated, but years of media comparisons, studio competition, and clashing personalities only made their relationship worse. By the early 1960s, both actresses were looking for career revivals when they were cast together in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. Instead of repairing their relationship, the production became famous for its behind-the-scenes tension. Stories from the set claimed Davis deliberately kicked Crawford during one scene, while Crawford allegedly placed heavy weights in her costume pockets so Davis would struggle to drag her during another. The feud continued after the film's success, including controversy surrounding the Academy Awards. Their bitter rivalry lasted for decades and remains one of Hollywood's most unforgettable celebrity feuds. Olivia de Havilland vs. Joan Fontaine. The rivalry between Olivia de Havilland and Joan Fontaine was unlike any other because they were sisters. Born just 15 months apart, the two future Oscar winners reportedly competed from childhood, with family tensions carrying into their Hollywood careers. Their relationship grew even colder after both became major stars during the 1940s. The feud reached its most famous moment at the 1942 Academy Awards when Fontaine won the Oscar for Suspicion, becoming the first sister to receive an Academy Award before Olivia. According to several accounts, Olivia was deeply hurt, and their relationship never fully recovered. Although both enjoyed remarkable careers, they rarely appeared together publicly and often spoke cautiously about each other in interviews. Over the decades, each offered different explanations for their estrangement, making it difficult to know exactly what caused the lasting divide. Their decades-long silence became one of Hollywood's most heartbreaking family feuds, proving that fame could not heal old personal wounds. Frank Sinatra vs. Ava Gardner. The relationship between Frank Sinatra and Ava Gardner was one of Hollywood's most passionate, and most turbulent. They married in 1951 after a highly publicized romance, but their union was filled with explosive arguments, jealousy, and constant media attention. Both were at the peak of their fame, with demanding careers that often kept them apart. Sinatra was deeply devoted to Gardner, while her independent spirit and glamorous lifestyle frequently fueled rumors and misunderstandings. Their fiery tempers turned even minor disagreements into headline-making confrontations. Despite the constant conflict, neither seemed able to completely let go of the other. The couple divorced in 1957, yet they remained emotionally connected for years, occasionally speaking and supporting one another during difficult times. Friends often described their relationship as one built on intense love that was ultimately overwhelmed by equally intense conflict. Their dramatic romance remains one of the most famous and unforgettable celebrity feuds and love stories of Hollywood's golden era. Debbie Reynolds vs. Elizabeth Taylor. The friendship between Debbie Reynolds and Elizabeth Taylor ended in one of Hollywood's most shocking betrayals. The two actresses were close friends during the 1950s, and Reynolds was happily married to singer Eddie Fisher. Everything changed in 1958 after the tragic death of Mike Todd, Taylor's husband and Fisher's close friend. As Fisher comforted the grieving Taylor, the pair unexpectedly fell in love, leading Fisher to leave Reynolds and marry Taylor. The scandal dominated newspaper headlines and turned the public against Taylor for years. Reynolds handled the heartbreak with remarkable grace, focusing on raising her children and rebuilding her career, while Taylor faced relentless criticism from fans and the press. Although the betrayal deeply damaged their friendship, time eventually softened their feelings. Decades later, both women publicly acknowledged the past with humor and mutual respect. Their highly publicized fallout remains one of Hollywood's most unforgettable celebrity feuds, blending heartbreak, scandal, and redemption into a story that still fascinates audiences today. Laurence Olivier vs. Marilyn Monroe. Working together on The Prince and the Showgirl in 1957 should have been a career highlight for Laurence Olivier and Marilyn Monroe, but it quickly became one of Hollywood's most infamous on-set feuds. Olivier, a classically trained British actor, valued discipline, punctuality, and extensive rehearsal. Monroe, meanwhile, often arrived late, struggled with anxiety, and relied heavily on her acting coach, frustrating both Olivier and the production team. As filming continued, their working relationship deteriorated. Olivier reportedly grew impatient with Monroe's repeated delays and emotional struggles, while Monroe felt intimidated and believed Olivier underestimated her talent. Their creative differences led to frequent disagreements, creating a tense atmosphere on set. Despite the conflict, the film was completed and received positive attention, with Monroe's performance earning praise from many critics. Over time, the production became almost as famous for its behind-the-scenes drama as for the movie itself, making their difficult partnership one of the most memorable celebrity feuds of Hollywood's golden era. Joan Crawford vs. Marilyn Monroe. The relationship between Joan Crawford and Marilyn Monroe was marked more by mutual resentment than open confrontation. Crawford represented the disciplined glamour of Hollywood's earlier generation, while Monroe became the studio system's new global sensation during the 1950s. As Marilyn's popularity soared, some reports suggested Crawford questioned her professionalism and dismissed her as a manufactured sex symbol rather than a serious actress. Monroe, meanwhile, was said to feel that older Hollywood stars looked down on her despite her efforts to improve her craft. The media eagerly fueled stories of tension between the two women, portraying them as symbols of two different eras competing for attention. Although they rarely clashed publicly, their alleged dislike became part of Hollywood folklore. Crawford's polished, demanding image contrasted sharply with Monroe's vulnerable public persona, making comparisons inevitable. Their rumored rivalry reflected the changing face of the film industry, where established legends often struggled to accept a new generation of stars taking center stage. Humphrey Bogart vs. Spencer Tracy. The relationship between Humphrey Bogart and Spencer Tracy was often described as tense, fueled by professional pride and strong personalities rather than dramatic public confrontations. Both men were among Hollywood's most respected leading actors, and comparisons between them were common throughout the 1940s and 1950s. Industry insiders claimed each believed his own approach to acting was superior, creating an unspoken rivalry whenever their names were mentioned together. Tracy was admired for his natural, understated performances, while Bogart became famous for his tough, charismatic screen presence. Although they rarely worked together, stories circulated that neither actor had much admiration for the other, and their mutual respect remained limited. Neither publicly launched personal attacks, but the competitive atmosphere surrounding their careers kept rumors alive for years. Their quiet rivalry reflected the intense competition among Hollywood's biggest stars, where reputation, prestige, and box office success often created lasting tensions even without direct confrontation. Lana Turner vs. Joan Crawford. The rivalry between Lana Turner and Joan Crawford grew out of Hollywood's relentless competition for fame, beauty, and leading roles. Crawford was already an established superstar when Turner emerged as one of MGM's brightest new talents in the late 1930s and 1940s. As Turner's popularity soared, the media frequently compared the two glamorous actresses, fueling speculation that Crawford viewed her younger rival as a threat. Reports from the era suggested that both women competed fiercely for prestige, publicity, and the studio's most desirable projects. Although neither publicly declared war on the other, insiders often described an atmosphere of mutual distrust whenever their careers overlapped. Crawford's polished, ambitious image contrasted with Turner's effortless glamour, making comparisons almost unavoidable. Over the years, gossip columns exaggerated every perceived slight, helping transform professional competition into one of Hollywood's most talked-about rivalries. Their story reflects how the Golden Age studio system often encouraged competition, turning talented actresses into lifelong rivals in the public eye. Which of these feuds shocked you the most? Was it Joan Crawford versus Bette Davis, the heartbreaking rivalry between Olivia de Havilland and Joan Fontaine, or another Hollywood showdown that deserves a place on this list? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your opinion. If you enjoyed this journey into Hollywood's hidden history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next documentary exploring the untold stories, forgotten scandals, and legendary stars of the golden era. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.